네, 송정.
Thank you, Senior AVP, Ms. Song Jung-hee. I listened to her presentation on collaboration. I have a question to ask you. Which program do you use when you prepare a presentation? There are a number of programs out there, so people pick and choose according to their taste. But at Silicon Valley, people's eyes are focused on one company, which is a web-based company called Prezi, which is a presentation tool susceptible of replacing the PowerPoint. We'll listen to Peter ARVAI, the CEO of Prezi, and he will talk to us on creative thinking and ideas.
안녕하세요, everyone. The Korean words I know is actually all related to food because I love my stomach, like kimchi, bibimbap. Those are the words I know. I want to talk to you today about changes in society and how Prezi fits into that. And so I want to start with reflecting a little bit about how amazing it is that we are actually here today at a global conference in Seoul, Korea. This is actually quite remarkable because had it been a few years ago, this conference would be so much harder to do, to bring speakers from around the world, to bring audience members from around the world. I know this because my parents, they are actually from the central part of Europe, Hungary, but I was born and raised in Sweden. So to be able to visit my family, we would have to travel 2,000 kilometers. And to travel 2,000 kilometers 30 years ago, that wasn't easy. In fact, it was very, very exclusive and expensive. So I remember those few occasions when my parents actually could afford for us to buy a ticket and go to Hungary. And my mom would pack her bag for a week, and we would have to go to the store to get new clothes because that special occasion to get on a plane, you didn't want to be dressed poorly for that. That was 30 years ago, and the world has changed quite a lot since then. 6 million people will get on a plane only today, and will go further than what my parents thought they would ever go in their lifetime. 6 million. That's enough to bring the entire South Korea to another continent in little over a week. So the world of international travel is changing a lot. But that's not the only thing that's changing. I love thinking about how the world is changing through data. And these are my two favorite charts. The first one is about how we live longer and happier lives. Because what you see here is that if we would have been born, say, 50,000 years ago, then most of us who are here today would not be alive, actually. The average life expectancy back then was under 30 years. But today, as you know, in most parts of the developed world, we actually live around 80. Isn't that amazing? Only here in South Korea, during the time of my parents, this is 50 years, we've added 30 years of life expectancy in this country. This means that a lot of you are able to come to this conference. It means that many more of you can meet your grandchildren, something that you may have not been able to if we wouldn't make these improvements. But not only are we living longer and healthier lives, we actually have more respect for life. This is my second favorite chart, and it's based on a lot of research done by Steven Pinker. He recently came up with a book called Better Angels of Our Nature, where he describes that all the data that we have seems to point in one direction. And what's remarkable about this chart is you see many different countries. They're all European. But what you see here is that they go in the same direction. We are actually killing each other less and less. So the homicide rates in the last 800 years have been going down. And what's remarkable is that all these countries that you see here is on a similar trajectory. And it goes logarithmically even. So you see it's 100 killings per 100,000 people to 1. These are the kind of changes that we're going through in society. But how does all of these changes happen? Well, I have one answer for you. It's by people sharing ideas. Humanity has this unique capacity to change the way we do things just based on an idea. This is very different from, for example, animals. I don't know if you have, say, a dog, and you've tried to train a dog to share an idea with the dog. It's not easy. Even to teach how to sit can be challenging. But with humans, we can share an idea about penicillin and start saving millions of lives almost instantaneously. So with an idea, we have the power to change the way we do things. And this is very unique for humanity. And because I believe that most humans actually use these ideas to do what's good for themselves, for their families, for their communities, because of that, actually, when we share ideas, we improve the entire world. That's why we can travel more to come to international conferences like this. That's how we live longer. That's why we have more respect for human life. Let me give you an example of this. A knife can be used to chop vegetables with, right? You can also do surgery with. You can carve beautiful sculpture with. But then, of course, knives can be used to kill people with. But what the charts are showing us, that when we spread ideas, we tend to choose the right thing. So we are actually improving the world. Sharing ideas has been such a central part for us to improve our lives that we actually spend a lot of energy figuring out how we can share ideas even more effectively. Like, for example, the very first innovation in a long road of idea-sharing technologies, painting pictures. What a wonderful way of sharing an idea. But we didn't stop there. We figured out how to put ideas onto paper, and then how to send it through the air to millions of people at the same time. And of course, the pinnacle of idea-sharing technologies, the internet. Never ever before have we connected the minds of 2.5 billion people with one purpose only, which is to develop even more ideas and to share them with more people than ever before. Idea sharing is becoming such a central part of how we live our lives that it's penetrating our daily life, 24-hour a day, through mobile devices and many other things. And because of this, whether we are prepared or not, we've actually transitioned into an idea economy. This brings a ton of opportunity because we want to continue improving our lives, right? But it brings a ton of challenges as well, because a lot of our institutions are actually not prepared for this change. Institutions like education and business. 50 years ago, when my parents started their education, my dad decided to get a high school degree only, and my mom, she got a university diploma. But none of them hesitated whether or not they would get a job on their graduation. Today, I have a lot of friends who have multiple university degrees. Still, they have a hard time finding a job. What changed? Education didn't change that much, but the ID economy has come forth. The current problems in education is centered very much around two problems. The first thing is that schools assume that they can know all the information they need to know to give students a job. Yeah? The second thing is that they can reasonably predict what will be the knowledge that the students need upon their graduation. But with an ID economy, this is not the case anymore, because the internet knows so much more than any person can possibly know, and the information on the internet is evolving so fast that by the time students graduate, there might be completely new information that they need to know to get a job. So the future of education is very different. It's a place where students learn how to learn, where they actually are encouraged to create information that they didn't know existed before. This is the way that schools can actually prepare students for the future and make sure that they get jobs. And this brings us to businesses, because businesses have their own set of challenges. In order to succeed in an ID economy, businesses have to think about very different ways of organizing their work. Take a look at this chart. Since my parents were born, the average life of the most successful companies in the US has gone from 61 years to be only 18 nowadays. There is a story that describes this change very well. Last year, one of the most known companies, Kodak, went bankrupt. At the time, this company was 120 years old, and it had accumulated massive amounts of experience around what kind of ways people wanted to develop and share pictures, right? But it was also the year another company, Instagram, was bought for $1 billion. At the time, this company was only 2 years old and had only 13 employees. What happened here? How could Kodak miss this opportunity? Well, simply put, the challenges of Kodak is very similar to the challenges of education. They need to figure out how to move quicker and how to think more creatively to be able to keep up in this world. This is why when IBM asked 1,500 CEOs around the world about what was the most important quality for their organizations to succeed, they said creativity. 60% of them said creativity. So the ID economy is providing us a tremendous opportunity to tackle some of the toughest challenges that humanity is facing right now. But it's also challenging us to rethink some of the most basic things about how we do things, how we organize education and how we organize business. I think a lot about this because this is the only way I can explain why Prezi is becoming so popular around the world. In the last 4 years, 22 million people have started to use Prezi. And it's people like these students who were brought to educational institutions that are adopting to the ID economy. These students are students from New Zealand, and they traveled to Australia to learn how to program various iPhone applications. And upon doing that, they were asked to bring back knowledge to New Zealand. What I'm about to show you here on this video is these group of students, just in a matter of minutes, bringing their individual stories onto one single canvas, and then discovering stories that they didn't know existed. These little men flying around represents one student each, and in a matter of minutes, they start to see connections between their ideas. And all of a sudden, we have a presentation made for a school in New Zealand. Knowledge that didn't exist there before. In Prezi, we see that what is one of the biggest benefits of using this format is that you can zoom out to see the big picture and discover things that you didn't know, but then go into detail to tell a story. But it's not just students that are discovering Prezi. It's also entrepreneurs like Artifon. And can we bring up the music, please? Let's see. I wanted you guys to hear the music of this iPhone-based instrument. Could we turn up? Yes. It's actually quite good music. So this instrument is actually fully designed using Prezi. It's a handful of people that were distributed in different cities, but that used the Prezi canvas in a similar way as the students that I showed you to combine their ideas and discover things that they didn't know existed before. And through 3 rapid iterations of this instrument, now it's being actually launched this week. And I think I'm going to get one myself. So what makes me really proud about Prezi is that this global movement for speed and creativity is seen everywhere among our users. And the one main reason why people like using Prezi is that it helps them to reduce the cycle times between thinking and doing. We started this company in Europe. We quickly then expanded to US. And today I'm extremely proud to announce that we are also starting here in Asia, starting with Seoul. In fact, here in the audience, we have Myung-gu, who is our first Korean employee. And I'm really looking forward to all the creative things that we will be able to do together. I hope I have shown you that I have a reason to be optimistic about the future, because generally speaking, humanity tends to do the right thing. Sure, ideas can be used for bad things, and there will always be people who make the wrong decisions. But in general, on average, humanity has made tremendous success by sharing ideas and improving the way we do things. Never ever before have we connected 2.5 billion brains to solve even further problems of humanity. And this number is just set to explode. But we are also being challenged to rethink how we do things when we think about education, business, healthcare, environment. So there's a lot of work for us to adopt to this brave new world. I would like to invite you guys to join that journey. 감사합니다.